Hello and welcome back. I'm back with a tutorial. It feels like it's been forever, but I think it's really only been like a week or something. I don't know. But I'm back. I went for a little walk today. It was like 40 something degrees Fahrenheit when I woke up today. My time is coming here. My favorite time of the year. Oh, people walking their dogs. So cute. Okay, so I've picked up some leaves. We don't have a lot of changing leaves or falling leaves quite yet, but most of them are just kind of crunchy and brown. But I have a few that I'm going to show you and show you what we're going to do. And it's going to be fun and it's going to be easy and hopefully relaxing because deep breath, I need to relax. So do you. Okay. Just flipping the camera around here to show you what I've got. Not too bad. I just stayed within like a few blocks of my neighborhood, or of my house, I should say, and quite the assortment. We have got, I love a good heart leaf. I don't know what that's from, but I'm loving all of these. And I really wanted to show you all of these to show you that you don't have to have your leaf look like any particular thing. I mean, look at like these ones that are kind of tipped, they've got some crunch on the end. Yellows, oranges, reds, greens. This one, I'm not really sure what's happening with that one with all the dark, and I don't know. Just to show you the variety that we've got here. So just have fun with it, be free with it. And also, we're going to trace. That is up to you. You don't have to. But if you're like, I don't know how to draw this like leaf here. Is this a maple? I think it is. Anyway, you can just trace it. There's no shame in that. Trace it. You can just freehand it, whatever you'd like. I've done both. I don't know if I've traced on here yet, but on my channel. I know I've gone in with just paint. I think I've gone in with just sketching. Anyway, today I'm going to trace. Okay, I was going to do this big leaf. I've decided against it, but let me just show you. Whatever leaf you choose, you need to make sure that it is pliable, so that you can kind of push it down, and you do not have to trace precisely, but just want to make sure that you can move it around a little bit. Like if you have a kind of crunchy one, it's just going to start flaking off and leave bits on your page here. There's some extra crunchy ones, but anyway, you get the drift. Let's just pick some cutesy little leaves. I like this one. And of course the heart, and maybe this guy, and this one, although, that's a pretty easy shape. Maybe we'll just do 3. Which ones do we want to do? Let's do these 3. Let's do this one, and this one. And here's the deal too. Just think about this, or remember this. Let's say you want this one, but you want it to be this color. You have the freedom. You heard it here. You have the freedom to do whatever you would like to do. Let me tell you too, I'm not using good quality paper today. I don't even know what paper this is, but it's probably not one I would recommend. But here's the deal. Running out of daylight. It's been a trying day. I don't know. It's been a day. And I'm running out of time and daylight and all the things. So I'm just picking out this cheap paper that I have because I don't have time to cut my good paper up. And I'm just using a pencil here. And we're just going to start tracing. Lay them out however you would like them. Even this one, you could have it so the heart is like that. We need a little bit of love, right? Okay, so we're just going to loosely trace around. I'm going to speed you through this part because it's just tracing. But please notice that I am simply going around it roughly, not precisely. Okay, here we go. And no worries if your leaves kind of shift a little bit. It's all good. Adding the stem here. As I fill in this first leaf with Winsor lemon, let me remind you that you can watch my YouTube videos with 0 ads if you join my Patreon for just $3 a month. And if you jump up to the $11 a month tier, you also get ad-free YouTube tutorials, and you get an art print in the mail every month, along with a sticker in the mail every month, and a story that is inspired by the artwork. It's my new Cozy Art Print Club, and it's my snail mail subscription, and I hope you join. Thank you so much to everybody who has already joined. Now, while that Winsor lemon is still wet, I am adding some orange, which is a mixture of the lemon yellow with cadmium-free red. And just grabbing some more of that color mixture with a little less water so it's more saturated, and just working my way around the edges. You can see I've kind of tapped it in the middle as well, obviously leaving plenty of the yellow showing through. Just going around the edge here. And then I've decided that it's a little bit too bright for me, so I put some burnt sienna on my brush and just kind of warming it up a little bit, toning down that orange and yellow. And then I got some burnt umber on my brush, but decided I have too much water in this leaf. So I've tapped my brush onto my paper towel and drying it off. And now I'm just kind of soaking up some of that water in my leaf so that I can work with it a little bit better. Okay, burnt umber back on my brush, and I'm going around the edges of the leaf to just kind of make it have a little crispy look to it, perhaps. Oh, and one more thing about my Cozy Art Print Club, my snail mail subscription. If you join this month by October 15th, 2025, your name will automatically be entered into a giveaway of the original painting for this month. And that is just my way of saying thank you for helping me launch this Cozy Art Print Club. I think we're going to have so much fun. And back to the painting, our second leaf, I am filling this in with cadmium-free yellow to start with. If you're new to watercolors, just a little tip is that in watercolors, we start with our lightest color and then work our way to the darker colors. The reason for that is watercolor is transparent, so every layer kind of shows through to the next. If you want to be scientifically accurate, it's actually translucent, but we'll just say transparent. It's okay. And on top of the cadmium-free yellow, while that is still wet, I am adding cadmium-free red, which will give it a nice orange because, of course, yellow and red make orange. You will see on each of these leaves that I will be layering, sometimes wet on wet, sometimes wet on dry. Now for this third leaf, I have used alizarin crimson for my base color, very diluted. And then while that's still wet, I'm adding a less diluted alizarin crimson so that there's just some more saturation and just kind of tapping it in. And then coming back over to our second leaf and adding some more of the cadmium-free red just to kind of warm up that yellow a little bit. And you can notice that I'm not doing a complete wash over our existing colors. I'm just tapping it in and letting those colors just mix and mingle on the paper there. And really, at this point, you can stop at whatever point it looks good to you. For this first leaf that we did, I decided it's too light for me. So I'm adding a mixture of burnt umber and burnt sienna, just a really light wash of it. So lots of water, not as much color. Just, do you see what it did for that there? It just kind of toned down that yellow a bit and warmed it up. That lemon yellow is quite a cool color. So we're just warming it up. And now I've got some more saturated burnt umber on my brush and kind of giving that crispy edge look again. I really like the contrast of the dark and the light in the same leaf. And each leaf is kind of its own little experiment. One might turn out brighter, another might be more muted, and that's just part of what makes this collection so fun. You can just play until you like what you see, and yeah, you can see probably at any point some of these could have been finished, but I just kept playing along. Now I'm taking the other end of my brush, kind of like the handle end of my brush, and I'm just kind of working that brown up into the leaf. It just kind of gives a nice subtle like veining effect in there. Now, I did this last year with one of my fall paintings and really liked how it turned out. I'm not super duper a fan of this one, and in fact, I will use my pen detail later to darken these up. It's nice if you're really going for subtle. I can't remember how I did it last year. I have to go watch that video again, but yeah, it's just one way to do it if you're going for a more subtle look. Just working that dark color in there. Playing with each leaf, kind of taking a step back and looking. I decided I want to paint in the stem of our second leaf, And I sped you up on that because I did a lot of little layers in there, kind of wanting it to be darker and darker. And now I've got some burnt umber on my brush, trying again for kind of like the crispy edge look on the orange leaf. And I end up kind of tweaking this leaf a little bit as well. Again, just experiment and play with your colors. And one of the good things about wet on wet, one of the many, I love painting wet on wet. One of the good things about it is that if you don't like it, you can kind of just blend them all together because everything's wet and you can just kind of pretend it didn't happen. Now, if you do wet on dry, it's a little more noticeable, but like I always say, you can almost always save a painting that you think perhaps has been too far gone. Now, speaking of wet on dry, that second layer of the alizarin crimson, I waited to apply that until the first layer was dry. And I'm just using the same color for the stem. You can see on the other ones, I used a darker color for the stems, but just use the alizarin crimson for our red leaf. And again, I told you I was going to tweak this leaf. I didn't like the crispy edge on the orange leaf, so I've decided to bring in some burnt sienna to what do you call it, reduce the contrast a little bit of the orange and the dark brown. Now, why I like it against the light yellow, I'm not sure, but it's all personal preference, whatever is pleasing to your eye. Third layer on that red leaf, I also waited for the second layer to dry. And now I'm coming in with a size 5 brown Micron. You can use black, you can use whatever size you'd like. But I am just going to be not tracing, I'm going to be outlining our leaves. And I'm being a little careful. You can be as messy as you want. You know, sometimes I just get really free with the pen and leave all sorts of white showing and just kind of be very whimsically messy about it. But I like how this really crisps up this leaf here. And I'm going to kind of do the same with all 3 leaves. Oh, and in case you don't know this, everything needs to be completely dry before you add the pen details. I should have said that first, but hopefully you're watching first and then painting later. But here we go. I am darkening up those veins that I put in with the brush handle end. You know what I'm talking about. Just darkening those up a bit, but still just being kind of wispy about them, if that makes sense. Keeping them nice and thin, just sort of gently suggesting the veins and not tracing every single line perfectly. The pen stage, or the adding the pen stage, is really a time where you can just kind of, again, personal preference. You can go bold and graphic or soft and delicate. You could do a mixture of both. There's really no wrong way. If you make your lines too light, obviously no worries. You can just go right over them again. And if you think that maybe your lines felt too dark or too heavy, you don't have to worry about that either, because usually once you step back and just look at the whole picture, it usually blends right in. Or you just say, yeah, I'm a whimsical artist. I did that on purpose. And you can reference some of these leaves. I'm not going for exact, but I just wanted to see like, oh, how many veins are in here? Are they all just slanting up in, the same direction type of thing? So just using it for a very loose reference. If you've been watching here for a while, you know that I love to add my pen details. Sometimes black, brown, white. I just love how the pen just adds a little bit of structure without taking away from that soft watercolor underneath. And if you look closely, you'll notice I don't always connect every line. I might leave some gaps here and there, just keeping it kind of light and sketchy. This one's actually a little bit more tight than I usually do, but I really like it. It's probably just whatever mood I'm in, I'm not sure. And then just going to add some veining in our red leaf as well, using that yellow leaf as our reference. And then I'm realizing, oh, I didn't really make this much of a heart, did I? It was more of a teardrop, but that's okay. I still like it. I really love that alizarin crimson for that particular leaf. Okay, the veining, I just, again, doing some diagonal lines, keeping them light and imperfect. How about whimsical? We'll go with whimsical. Now I am imagining my light source coming from the upper right, and I'm going to add some shadows, okay? I've got a mixture of Payne's gray with a little bit of burnt sienna for my shadows, and just adding where I think the shadows are going to be in relation to our light source in the upper right. So they are not going to be perfect by any means, but they do add a nice bit of depth and help the leaves kind of feel like they're sitting on the page rather than floating or something like that. I definitely could have added a little bit more on the left side of that leaf, but that's okay. All right, for our orange leaf, same thing, imagining the light source coming from the upper right, and just adding our shadow. Same thing, third leaf. It's funny, I'm kind of looking at the red leaf that's to the left of my painting, and you can see the shadow there. So I could have just imagined the light source coming from the upper left and just copied what is on my table. That might have been a better way to go about it, but that's okay. Just gonna play with it. I think it's kind of fun to imagine and challenge myself a little bit because it's not really my specialty. Again, they're not perfect, but I like what they add here. I think I got a little bit too much paint on my brush for this one. Like, I like how light it is under here, so I'm just gonna clean my brush off, dry it off on my paper towel, and just kind of soak up some of that color. It just acts like a sponge, your brush does, when you do that, when you clean it and then dry it off. So just gonna soak up some of the color and make it a nice light shadow under our red leaf. And there we go. Our fall leaves are finished. You know, it really doesn't have to be complicated. You can trace your shapes, add a little color, some pen lines, maybe a little hint of a shadow, and voila! You have something to frame or add to a card, whatever the case may be. And if 3 leaves seems too daunting or time consuming, just start with 1 and have fun with it. All right. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I hope to see you in the next video.